We're going to begin with a basic practice, as I said. And to begin, let's just kind of give ourselves a little shake, maybe shake your shoulders, your wrists and everything. And what I'm doing that for in this case is just to kind of feel like you're getting rid of your expectations for this practice. Okay, I've already told you somewhat of an intention that I have for the practice, but see if as we move into each of the different asanas, you can kind of get rid of your file folders and just experience the posture, the asana, with a little bit more feeling attitude, a little bit more of how does this feel? Instead of I expect, oh, I hate camel pose and I expect to feel really bad in camel pose. Just try to move forward in a way that feels a little bit more, with a little bit of wonderment, a little bit of, I guess I'll even say awe. This morning I heard someone say the Wizard of Awe. And I thought that was really clever, because sometimes just being kind of awed by something, A-W-E-D, awed by something, can allow us to experience so much more than coming with expectations, okay? So first pose, Sukhasana, or any sitting pose that works for you. It could be that you choose to have your knees bent underneath you, so you're in hero's pose, Virasana. I'm choosing Sukhasana, the pose, the sweet pose, Sukha meaning sweet, ease, openness. And just take a few cycles of breath and notice how this feels. Maybe your ankles are bothering you a little bit. Maybe you feel like, oh, I wish I was sitting up on something. Maybe your hips feel a little congested. So just be sort of engaged with how you feel right now. If you have a window that you can look out of, you might just kind of look out at the sky. This morning was a really beautiful sky here in Boise. It was a light rain, and then the sun came out through the raindrops. It was really pretty. You might have a tea or coffee in front of you that you can still kind of smell or taste in your mouth. Notice your ability to breathe. Our own bodies are pretty awesome. Even though we're not doing anything, we're not trying to breathe necessarily. If you notice, you can feel the air moving in and out of your nostrils, through your throat. This happens without any effort consciously on our part. Let's take a few more cycles of breath. And then let's shrug our shoulders up towards our ears and circle the head of our arm bones way behind us. And just for a moment, open up our palms out to the side, maybe as if you're holding little candles or something on your hands. Noticing how that feels. Noticing the squeezing of your shoulder blades in your back body, the stretch in the front body, and then bring your palms together and see if you can keep your chest still that open. This gesture, as I tell you a lot, is the Anjali Mudra. Anjali meaning this connection we have with each other. Not just those who are in our life right now, but those who may have passed on. And even deeper than that, even those who did yoga thousands of years ago. This is a ritual that we use to begin our practice. And then the sound that goes along with this, of course, is an Om. So let's begin our practice with one Om. We'll take a deep inhale. Om. And the Om is the 4 seasons of life. So not just life like, baby to old age, but also the seasons of a year. And it recognizes that there are seasons and that things spiral. There's not a, spring comes and then there's fall. There's a constant spiraling every year. And sometimes every month we see that, oh, we're back in summer or spring again. So just honoring that spiraling of life. So just taking a moment to consider that. And we're in the third season right now, fall. And fall tends to be a time when there's a lot of energy. We're all getting back to maybe school kids. I still have that excitement of, oh, school's going to be starting soon. But just, the change of season tends to kind of energize us a little bit. So we're going to do some calming breathing right now. Let's just take our hands back down, and we're going to inhale through the nostrils. And then exhale a little bit longer than you inhale. And if you want, you could count it like this. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our exhale tends to elicit that relaxation response a little bit more, okay? Of course, we always associate it with release, but it also helps us get tapping into that relaxation response. So take a couple more cycles of breath like that, feeling your body releasing as you exhale, feeling your body relaxing as you exhale. And we're going to try to take this with us into our practice today, okay? So go ahead and bring your feet out in front of you now. And just kind of pat your toes on the ground. If you were like me with your ankles underneath you, that probably feels pretty good. And then we're going to take I'm getting off of my block now. Take our feet out in front of us and just lean back on your elbows for a moment. And I don't know if you can, I think you can still see my feet. Just kind of rock your feet side to side like this. And then notice what's going on at the top of your hips as you do that. Do you feel a different sensation when you rock in or rock out? Okay. And then I'm going to come this way so you can see me better now. If you have a block, you could put the block underneath your hips. If you don't have a block, that's fine. Or you could put a blanket or a book under your hips. We're just going to take our right knee up towards our right shoulder and then over to the right a little bit. And notice what's going on the inside of your right hip. Now take your left leg over to the left a little bit. You can tap your left heel and leave it on the ground, or you can lift your left heel up. Just noticing that stretch on the inside of your right leg. Bring your right knee back in. Hold your hands behind your right leg in the hamstring area. Flex your toes so they're coming up straight like a dorsal fin. This is called dorsiflexion. And then stretch your right heel up to the sky. Bend it back down, up and down a few times. Just noticing that. Okay, and then lower your right leg, and we'll do the same thing with our left. Bring your left knee into your chest. Take your left knee out to the left. Notice how that feels. Pick up your right heel, move your right leg over to the right, and then you can lower your right heel, tapping the floor with your right heel, or you could keep your right leg up. How does this side feel? It's a story, many stories in our bodies. My right side is tighter because of different activities I've done in my life. So just kind of be open to the stories your body is telling you. And now we're going to bring the right knee up with the left knee. Oh, I forgot to do this. Sorry. We're going to straighten and bend our leg. Sorry. Do that a few times, straightening and bending. Okay. Now bring your right knee up and let's straighten and bend both of our legs. So heels up towards the sky, bend your knees, heels up, spread your toes. Let's add the breathing that I talked about. Okay, we're going to take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, stretch your heels up, spread your toes, stretch out your exhale a little bit longer. Inhale, bend your knees. Let's do that again. Take another exhale, inhale. When you're ready, we're going to take our legs up on an exhale, stretch it out a little bit longer.
Inhale down. 1, 2, 3. Exhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. Inhale down. A couple more times. Up. Hold it a little bit longer. Inhale down. All right, put your feet back on the ground. And if you have a block or something under your hips, get rid of it. And we're going to lift our hips up and just give them a big shake. And then scoot your shoulders underneath you, interweave your fingers, and press open the front of your hips a little bit more, drawing the tail up towards the sky. So you're feeling a big stretch in the front of your hips, maybe. And this is assisted by working your back body a little bit more. We're going to add a little bit of breathing to this pose now. So we're going to inhale, relax our hips down towards the floor, and then stretch out your exhale longer. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to stay at 5. Inhale down. Okay, let's do that on your own, at your own pace. Our exhale comes up. Inhale down. And here we go again. Exhale up. Inhale down. Last time, we're going to hold it up there. Exhale up. Hold your exhale a little bit longer. Maybe even longer, and lift your heels. And then inhale all the way down. So from here, we're going to pick up our knees and just feel like you're picking up your feet. Feel like you're circling your knees on the ceiling, and then circle in the opposite direction. And then, just like we did before, we're going to exhale our legs up straight like this. Inhale. Exhale, heels up. Now inhale, knees in. Exhale. This time, take your legs a little bit lower. Instead of being straight up, a little bit lower, like maybe at about, if there's a clock, maybe down another digit to 1 o'clock. And inhale your way in. Okay, keep going like that. So again, the exhale comes up and out, and maybe lower your legs a little bit more. Also, you're pulling your navel to the spine, navel to the floor. Inhale. So that one more time. Exhale out. Navel to the floor. Inhale. Now put your feet back on the ground. Lift up your hips. Give them another little shake. And we're going to add to that, of course. Take your hands behind your head. We're going to inhale. Exhale. Lift your shoulders. Extend your legs. Inhale down. Big inhale. Exhale. Shoulders lift. Legs extend. Inhale. Let's do a couple more. Exhale. Remember, on your exhale, you're also pushing your belly to the ground. If you want to make this a little easier, you'll take your legs up and over your hips instead of out in front of you. Okay, let's go ahead and relax. Feet on the ground, and rock your knees over to one side. Hold for a moment. Rock to the other side. Hold for a moment. Okay, bring your knees back into your chest. And now we're going to rock all the way up to a seated position. So just inhale. Exhale, rock up. Let's cross our ankles underneath us and come into a cat pose. So just going to come on over. Tip your pelvic girdle forward and backward. So forward pelvic tilt is where our belly sinks towards the ground and it squeezes the back body. Our backward pelvic tilt is where It's like a Halloween cat. Our belly lifts to the sky. So you can think of your navel as initiating this. When you bring your navel forward, navel to the ground, that's forward pelvic tilt. When you bring your navel back, that's backward pelvic tilt. Let's keep our backward pelvic tilt for a moment and just feel it stretch in the back body. And then do the opposite. Bring your pelvic girdle forward. Okay? Walk your knees back and walk your hands forward. Lower your ears till they're right in alignment with your shoulders, okay, with your arms, okay? So not below and not above if you can help it. It might be that you need to stay above. Just come as close as you can to ears in alignment with your arms. And then feel as if you're pushing the floor away from you. Feel your arms hugging. By hugging, I mean feel like you're rolling your outer arm inward towards your ears, okay? So noticing that action. Now we're going to come forward. If you want, you could put a blanket underneath your knees, and our hands are still in sort of the same position. I have to move mine a little bit because you want to have your shoulders almost up to your wrists, okay? So just move it so you don't want your shoulders ahead of your wrist, but just right at your wrist or even a little bit behind. We're going to look forward, keep this straight shape of your crown to your tail, bend your elbows any amount. Hold it and back up. We're going to add the breathing to it. The rest is inhale. Draw in energy. Exhale. Hold it a little bit longer. Inhale up. Let's do that again. Exhale. Hold it a little bit longer. And then back up. Lift your knees, straighten your legs, and come up into down dog. From down dog, lift up your heels a little bit more, kind of like you're just, kind of walking. And then we're going to stretch our left heel towards the back of the mat, bending our right knee a lot. And back to that idea of awesome. Just kind of play with this shape. How can this feel more awesome for you? Some of you might have a Achilles or a foot or something this doesn't feel good. Then you could bend your knee down and just stretch out your other leg. So use this shape to start investigating what is interesting. Be playful. Don't feel like you have to do it a certain way. Get rid of the file folders of your teachers and just play with it. And then go to the other side, okay? Stretching through the other leg. Notice how that heel feels. And then we're going to lower both of our knees, walk our hands back to our knees, to our hips, and just shake out your hands for a moment so you can feel the tension dissipating. Bring your left foot forward, your hands on the inside, okay? Lift up your right knee and just be here for a moment. Okay, my right knee's lifted. I'm going to walk my left foot over to the left a little bit and let my right heel come down to the ground. So my left heel is intersecting my right arch. I'm going to rock over to my right knee and feel what happens in this left leg as I lift my toes up and take the weight to my right leg. Again, be intrigued. What's happening with our body? Spread your toes a little bit. Maybe bend your elbows again and get down a little bit lower. And then we'll go ahead and bend our left knee, and we're going to pull our belly in and come all the way up. Looking over your left shoulder, reach forward with your left hand. And then look over your right shoulder, reach towards the back wall or the back of your mat, whatever, with your right hand. Come right in the middle, and we're going to bend our left knee and come up and down. If you want, you can do the arm stuff that I do a lot, where I inhale down and exhale up. Or you can just stay in this shape and just feel the sensations of being in this shape. You might roll your palms up so you get a little bit more open in the chest. You might sink your hips down. Okay? Try to make sure that your left knee doesn't go past your ankle.
but it also doesn't have to be totally at a right angle. So find what feels good to you. Okay, and we're going to be in this shape, Virabhadrasana 2. Okay, I call this an open hip posture because you have your left leg in external rotation. That means it's almost like there's a loop of energy that's, if you can see my hand, taking my inner left leg and rolling it up and over and out to the outside. So it's kind of a, John Friend had the Anusara school, and he would have all these loops drawn, and he would draw a loop that's moving from your inner left thigh out to the outside. Your right leg, just feel it straight and strong. Right heel pressing in. Okay, we've been here for quite a while. Let's do our breathing and stay here a little bit longer. We're going to inhale, exhale. Feel yourself extending out more. Inhale, kind of come into a little bit more of relaxation, and then exhale, extend. Now let's do that. Inhale, down. Exhale, take our hands up. Straighten your left leg. Now both toes are turning in. You might want to kind of lift up your toes on both feet so that you can dissipate any tension that's brought there. And we're going to come forward into a forward fold. Some of you may not want to come all the way down to the ground. Come to a place that feels good for you. So I'm keeping my head slightly up just since I'm talking. You might be having your crown facing the ground. We're just going to be in this shape for a moment, okay? You can take both hands over to one ankle, noticing that stretch. And again, noticing the awesome effect that these different postures have on your body. The wizardry of awe, noticing, oh, if I twist a little bit more to the left, I feel a little different stretch, but I can also back off of it if it's too much, and then take it to the other side. That's my awesome dog telling me that someone's walking their dog down the street. And let's come back into the center. We're going to bend our knees a little bit and work your heels in. And then our stance between, the distance between our feet is a little bit shorter. Climb your hands up your legs, and we're going to slowly come up. And now take your left heel in. Okay, so if this distance, we're going to triangle pose, Trikonasana. If this distance doesn't feel good to you, you can shift your feet around. It's really important to go ahead and let your, if you keep your feet in place the whole time, that you're going to start feeling more tension in your feet. So go ahead and, if you ever want to, lift up your heels or your toes or whatever. Okay, take the left hand to the top of the left leg. And first we're just going to feel that stretch. Okay, so again, we felt this earlier when we were doing Warrior 2. We felt it when we were coming side to side. This is your gracilis, this muscle in here. I know that muscle well because I've heard it many times. It's healed up now. So anyway, just notice that it might be that you do need to turn your left toes in slightly. So let's just kind of get rid of the file folders and feel that nice stretch, but not too much. And then begin to form your triangle pose. So yes, I'm going in very slowly. Now I'm going to inhale down to my low belly and exhale out through my limbs, down through my legs. Inhale. Exhale. Let's see if we can stretch it out a little bit longer. You'll inhale maybe 4 counts, exhale maybe 5 counts. And you just count to yourself, and we're going to stay here 5 more cycles of breath. If in this time you want to bend and straighten your front legs, sometimes this bothers people's ankles. Keeping a slight bend in your knee is always a great idea. Not totally locked, but just slightly bend. That can engage your muscles more. Muscles that can support the bones and keep space, a little bit of space between the joints. Okay, at the end of your 5th exhale, we're going to come on up. And this time we're going to work our heels in even closer. Again, maybe lift up your toes and rock them side to side. And we're going to come down into this goddess pose, sometimes called temple. And in this pose, feel the squeezing of your shoulder blades together and kind of feel like your gluteal muscles, these guys here, are helping to take your knees out a little bit more. If you want, you can lift up your heels again or keep them down. You can lift up your toes, just play around with it. Sinking perhaps a little bit lower. And then we're going to go ahead and take our hands back to our knees and take our right shoulder over to our left knee, left shoulder over to our right knee. Be careful with this pose. This is one, I was being way too aggro, but this is why I was talking about this muscle, your gracilis. You can, kind of get into it too quickly. And then we're going to go ahead and come all the way up. And from here, we're going to walk our right foot in a little bit closer to our left. And here's where we go into our half moon pose. So it's basically forming triangle, but this time we're going to be doing it with one foot, our right foot being off the ground. You can put your left hand all the way to the ground. If you have a block, you can put your left hand on a block, or you can I have a couch. I've got a lot of furniture. It's kind of close quarters here for me. So bend your left knee. Find where you want to put your hand, again, on the ground or whatever. I'm going to leave mine up in the air. And then you're going to find a gaze point to look at, and then see if you can find your triangle pose here. Okay. Inhale down to your low belly. Stretch out your exhale to last a little bit longer. Can you do 5? Maybe you don't want to do all 5. Maybe you want to do 1 up and then take your right foot down like I just did. So whatever feels good. Okay? And then from here, we're going to bring both feet in. So our feet are even closer now. And we're going to just go ahead and come down into that forward fold again. Okay, so hands slide down your legs. Okay, from here, again, if you want, you could bend your right knee and take your weight over towards the right foot. Bend your left, take your weight over to the left. And then we're going to climb our hands forward towards the front of the mat and step our left foot back for down facing dog. From down facing dog, we're going to come forward into plank pose. In plank pose, try to keep your outer arm, your tricep, kind of rolling back like this, if that makes sense. Not so much that you lock your elbow, but just instead of letting your shoulders curl in, we want to keep your chest open. And then we're going to come down to our knees, stretch back in half down dog, and then bring your right foot forward. And with your right foot forward, take your hands on the inside. Tuck your toes, get this nice stretch on the insides of your legs. And then walk your hands over to the left. Move your right foot so your right heel is intersecting your left arch. Hips sink low, belly comes in all the way up. Double check your pose. Open hip postures. At least one leg is in external rotation. In this case, it's our right leg. Okay? So we'll come up and down a few times and feel, remember that loop I talked about? Inner seam of your right leg kind of rolling over to the outer leg. So you'll feel that coming as you come up and down a few times. Notice what you feel. If you want, you could use your arms like I do a lot. Inhaling down, exhaling up. And then we're going to stay in this shape, okay? Breathe in and out 5 times. Inhaling down, exhaling, push. The energy is out. It's releasing. That's why this is more associated with your relaxation response. Inhale, exhale. And then both arms up. Take your right toes in, so both your feet are in. We're going to come back into that forward fold. I'm going to turn, so you're not just looking at my back body, so I'm going to face you, but you can stay where you're at. Okay? And then let's climb on down into that forward fold. I guess you guys were already there. I just had to turn. You can take both hands to one side and to the other. This pose is Prasarita Padottanasana. Wide stance forward fold. All right, we're going to move our right heel in. Exhale your way up. Find your hinge. Feel that inner leg rolling, kind of like this right femur is rolling towards the right. And you can radiate out through your arms. Inhale down. 5 cycles of breath. See if you can stretch out your exhale. So we inhale. Exhale. If exhale, you come up, we're going to come back into our goddess pose, feeling both legs turning out, inner knee to outer knee, gluteals working. You can lift your heels if you want. And then when you're ready, you go ahead and extend all the way up. Our stance is a little bit shorter now. Let's take our left toes in, climbing perhaps that left foot closer to the right. We're going to find something to look at. Maybe move a block down there. Bend your right knee. Keep the gaze spot, and then come on up into your balancing. You can call it balancing triangle if you want. Just feeling that shape. See if you can breathe. 5 cycles of breath here. Inhaling. Stretch out your exhale. Inhale. Keep it going. And here is a great place to play around a little bit too. You know, you can bend your left knee and reach for your left foot with your left hand. And then we'll come back down after you've done your 5. And we're just going to kind of shake our hips side to side and take our right shoulder towards our left leg, left shoulder towards our right. Slide your hands down, walk your heels in a little bit shorter stance. This one is actually moving towards standing forward fold, Uttanasana. You can even lift your heels up off the ground a little bit. And then lower back down. And then we're going to walk our hands back to the front of the mat. Step your feet back to down facing dog. Come forward into plank, holding it for a moment. Let's take 5 cycles of breath here. If you want, you can put your knees on the ground. Inhale down to your low belly. Exhale, stretch it out. Knees can stay up, or you can move them down like I did. Inhale, the knees go down. Exhale, make your knees come up. Inhale, exhale. Keep it going. We're doing 5 cycles of breath. Okay. From here, lower to your knees. We're going to walk our hands all the way back to our hips. Shake out your wrists. Hands to your heels. Tuck your toes. This is going to stretch out the bottom of your feet, the soles of your feet. Take your right hand back and just kind of follow it with your gaze. Okay? Now, in this back bend, of course,
You want to keep your navel pointed towards your low back. You want to keep your sternum lifted. That's why I have the hand up like this. Okay? And then let's come back. Do the other side. Lift your left hand up. Take it back a little bit. Come back to center. Pull your belly in. Take your hands to the mat. And let's do that Halloween cat again. Just like this. And then forward pelvic tilt. Belly drops down. Backward pelvic tilt. Navel moves back. Come into what you feel is neutral. Exactly neutral. Not forward or back. Okay? And then from here, we're going to walk our right hand forward and our left as well. Pause for a moment. And then tip your pelvic girdle forward and come into half down dog. Lower to your elbows. If you want, you could take that block and put it between your hands. I'm putting my palms together, okay? And then we're going to extend our legs back and come back into plank pose, but this time with our elbows down. Try to make a straight line from your heels to your crown. So inhaling down, exhaling up. I'm just moving my antenna so you can hear me. And then we'll go all the way down, but we're going to take our forearms in front of us. So our arms are kind of parallel. They might not be exactly parallel, but they're more parallel than they were just a moment ago. Okay, in this shape, take a deep inhale, and then on exhale, lift your low ribs, lift your belly, and kind of point your tailbone down more. So again, our navel is moving backward pelvic tilt. Inhale, let your navel relax back down. Let's do that again. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, lift your low ribs, lift your navel. Maybe lift your hips. Inhale, hips, belly, low ribs. Okay, so let's do that 5 more times. We're inhaling, relaxing. Exhale, lifting. You could just lift your low ribs if you want. You can lift your belly, or you can lift your hips. You can lift your knees. And then down as you inhale. Okay? Watch your low back on this. I'm giving you the challenge of doing 5 cycles of breath, but if that's bothering your low back, just bend your knees and rock your knees side to side and begin again when it feels comfortable for you. Okay? And then after your 5 cycles of breath, bring your forearms in front of you, forehead on your forearms, bend your knees and just let your knees rock side to side. All right, we're going to come up from this. So hands next to your shoulders, press up and come back into that half down dog again. Come all the way up into down dog if you want. So half dog like I just showed you, or all the way up into your full down dog. Either way, we're going to step our left foot forward. This time, we're going to take our hands on either side of your left foot. Lift your right knee. Move your right foot to the right a little bit, and let's take our right heel to the ground. Okay, this is warrior 1. We did this last week. Okay, imagine there's a line down the middle of your mat. We're going to put our right foot definitely on the right side of that line, left foot definitely on the left side. And then you're going to come up slowly. Let's go ahead and straighten our left leg for a moment and kind of organize your hips. Again, I'm going to talk about that loop. So your right leg, you're going to feel a little bit like the inseam of the right leg is rolling towards the back of the mat. Your left leg, it's just going to come straight down and point over your left ankle. The tendency is for it to sag in, so you might be needing to think a little bit of that left thigh rolling outward, but it's not that you want to take it all the way out, okay? I hope that makes sense. So we're going to inhale down. So this is looping inward. This is just kind of keeping straight. I've got a seam on my pants leg so I can see that. Let's come back up. And then coming back down. Okay, and then stay up with your arms. Your back heel. See if you can roll to the outer back heel a little bit more. Where might you feel anything yucky in this pose? What does not feel awesome?
It might be that you want to turn your chest a little bit more to the right. It might be that you want to move your right foot a little bit. Okay? So try to feel the gifts of this pose without the yuckiness of it. Okay? So make it feel good. This is warrior one. It's considered a little bit more tricky pose. Okay, from here, we're going to come on down with our hands. I'm going to lift my right heel, move my right foot forward. My right foot is still on the right side of my left foot. I've got a block in the middle of my feet ahead of me. I'm going to land as if I'm going to land my chest right on that block. I'm going to keep my spine in that same line between my feet and take a twist to the left. Revolve triangle. You can do your 5 cycles of breath here if you want, or you can just come back up to center and hold it for a moment. And then our hands come to the ground, and we're going to take this back into down facing dog, or again, if you want, half dog. And then we'll step the right foot forward, okay? So the right foot's pointing forward, the left foot's pointing kind of towards the left corner of our mat. You're going to come up slowly into warrior one. Again, adjust his pose. Usually it makes people feel a little bit more stable if they move their feet wider apart. So you could heel toe your right foot to the right. Maybe that doesn't feel so good. Also, some people are going to feel better if they keep their chest a little bit to the left. But again, feel that your right knee is pointing right in front. Your left leg is kind of internally rotating here. The seam is rolling inward. Let's come up. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. You can slow it down. Inhale. Slow it down. Exhale. What do you feel as you slow things down? Do you get a little bit more into the present? Or do you start getting agitated? Like, why can't we go faster? See if you can, if that's you, see if you can see what the hurry is. What is pulling you from being present with this, with your body, this amazing, this awesome body that you have? And then we'll just hold it there in our warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Notice all the little sensations that this pose is giving you. Then we'll bring our hands back down to our heart. We're going to lift our left heel, move it up a little bit closer towards, so the stance is a little bit shorter. And this is revolve triangle. It's pyramid and revolve triangle. Pyramid is where you're up like this. Actually, full pyramid, you would come forward like this. But we're doing revolved triangle, which starts with pyramid and then adds this rotation. So just feeling your rotation. And then coming back down. Exhale your way up. Take your down dog if you want, if that's where you would like to go, or you can bring your right foot up. We're going to, whether you're in down dog or not doing down dog, we're going to come up to the front end of our mat, stand in mountain for a moment. Okay, we're going to do our balance poses now. So balancing on your left leg, inhale down, exhale, bring your right knee up and come into your version of tree pose. Okay, toes could be on the ground or your foot can be up. Keep your outer left leg moving inward, and just like those other open hip postures, feel your inner knee moving a little bit out. Okay, so just noticing that shape. Notice as you exhale especially. So inhale, bringing in energy, exhale. Notice your alignment. Maybe your navel is forward in a little bit of a forward pelvic tilt. I'm exaggerating that right now. And then you can pull your navel back and get a little bit straighter. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe your navel's already back and you're kind of in this rounded position. So just going to play with the shape. Okay, and attempt to stay here just a tad longer. And then we'll bring our knee in, give your leg a swing, and go for the other side. So now we're balancing on our right leg. Bring your left knee up. I'm going to stand with my back to this chair, to this wall, so you can kind of see a different version of this. So as you bring your knee up and land it wherever you want to land it, notice the dance between your right hip and your left knee. Notice that as I push my right hip more back towards the door, my left knee kind of comes towards the right a little bit. It kind of moves forward. And then as I press my left knee back, my right hip. So see if you can balance that play between those two. So we're trying to stay flat. And again, I'm putting my back on a wall, but if you're not, just feel your head moving so your head is as if it were against a wall. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Noticing this shape. Inhale down. Exhale, stretch out that release. Notice, be curious, wonder. What would happen if I lean back a little bit more? And when you're ready, release and let that leg swing. Shake out your hips a little bit. And then coming into extended mountain. So our feet are on the ground. We're just going to reach our hands up. Okay? I'm going to bring my palms together and feel like I'm taking my thumbs to my middle upper back. And then I'm going to kind of lift my sternum up a little bit more. So I'm in this big shape that's sort of like I'm in a back bend. And if I had my hands on the ground, I would be getting ready to do wheel pose. And you could kind of play with it here, like I'm doing. I'm bending my knees and I'm taking my arms back a little bit. So I'm feeling like, oh, that could be wheel pose. How does this feel? Can you breathe? Slow down your exhale and come all the way up. From here, let's give ourselves a twist to each side. And then we're going to go ahead and either stay up on your feet or lower to your knees, okay, like we did with camel. So you can be getting ready to do camel, or you can stay up where I'm at, where I am. We're going to bend our left knee to get the weight more on the left foot. Inhale down, and as you exhale, lift your right foot and press it back. And get a little bit of that same feeling of taking your hands back and reaching for your foot, okay? And inhale, come in and relax. Do the other side, balancing your right foot. So those of you in camel, so those of you standing, go ahead and do the same thing. Those of you in camel, what you'll be doing is just taking one hand back, coming back up, okay? And do the other side. Back, hold it. Can you stay a little bit? Can you breathe? And then back up. Okay, so we're going to do it one more time. Those of you who are in camel, you can repeat that, maybe go a little bit deeper. Those of you standing will do the same thing, but if you want, as you inhale and come back, here I'm going to inhale and exhale. You could reach for your ankle if you want and take your other arm up into Nataraja asana, or a version of that somewhere in between. And then we'll end it by bringing our knee forward and maybe in straightening your leg. Other side, same thing. Inhale. Reaching up. You can reach for your left foot with your left hand if you want. Come in a little bit deeper if you want. But watch your low back, just like we did when we were doing that standing version, like this. You want to keep your navel pulling in. And then come back. Give yourself a little twist. Oops, we better get going. Let's come down to the mat. If you have more time, you could add to this practice, maybe do pigeon on each side. I'm going to take us straight to the mat. Lower all the way down. If you want, you have your block handy. You can come up in bridge pose, or you can use your block for supported bridge pose. Whatever feels good. You can take your arms overhead and extend your legs, and you're going to feel a little bit like you're in that standing back bend, okay?
So navel is in. So it's coming backward. Your navel's going backward. You could bend your elbows. This hurts my shoulder, so I can't do it on my left arm. But my right arm, you can look at it. It's in position. And then you can rock your heels up. And you can press up with your right arm. Your hips come up, and you're in your wheel pose. After you've done your back bend, so it could be that you never left your block, or you could have left your block. We're going to take the block out and come back down to the ground. Extend your left leg out. Take your right knee towards your chest as you did earlier. Right knee out to the right, and then right knee across your body. Big stretch down the right side of your body. Try to keep your chest open, your shoulders on the ground. If it doesn't happen, that's fine, of course. And then bring your right knee into your chest. And let's do that work that we did at the very beginning. So we're going to inhale, and then exhale, hold. Inhale, exhale, hold. Switch sides. Right leg goes down. Left knee into the chest, left knee across your body. And we're trying to keep our shoulders melting into the ground. They may not, but just that's kind of the general idea. And then we come back in with our knee, hands behind your hamstring there. Inhale, exhale. Stretch out your exhale. Inhale, exhale. Release your left leg down. Give your body a little shake. And then just land into your Shavasana. Inhale down to your low belly. Exhale, release. Radiate relaxation throughout your body. Inhale down to your low belly. Exhale, radiate out. Three more. In this practice, I've been emphasizing the exhale to elicit that relaxation response. And you might think, well, I need to be energized, which is fine, but just know that adding a little bit more of that relaxation to your day, to your morning, can actually give you more energy. So the exhale isn't just about relaxing, it's about creating space for energy. And sometimes what you need to do is get rid of stuff that's in the way of your energy. So our brain can get just clouded with thoughts, so many thoughts that it becomes, it becomes impossible to think because you've just got like a crowded space there. So thinking of your exhale as an opportunity to clean out, to get rid of what's in the way of your clear thinking, of your fluid movement. And then just observe for the next few cycles of breath. Maybe just breathe in a natural way. Just observing what you feel. Observing, I'm going to call this class the Wizard of Awesome. So just, again, being sort of awed by the power of your own body to generate energy, to transform energy, to function whether or not you're facilitating it.
And maybe there's one thing that you're looking forward to today that you think is going to be kind of awesome. It might not be a big thing. Maybe it's as little as being able to pour a clean glass of water for yourself. Or maybe you have some great plans. But I've been talking about my daily journaling, and the first thing I journal is what I want to let go of. Second, what I want to move towards. And the third is something I'm looking forward to in the day. Something that maybe you're just envisioning might happen. Today, as I drove to the DMV to get my driver's license renewed, as I said, I got to drive through this soft little rain with the sun peeking through, and it was just really awesome. So it might be just even the awesomeness of something that's happening right now. And then when you're ready, begin to move a little bit, make your way up to your finishing pose, which might be that you want to stay on your back, or it could be that you want to come up to that first pose we're in, Sukhasana. And then we'll bring our palms together at the heart center. Again, just the awesomeness of all those yogis who've gone before us and created this very helpful technology. And then bring your fingertips to your forehead to indicate the desire for a calm and clear mind, to your lips to indicate the desire for honest and compassionate communication, and back to the heart center to indicate the desire for loving intention. May our practice help us become more grounded so we can be more open and free, kinder so we can teach peace with our own unique example. And may you have a day of infinite blessings and the wisdom to see and receive them. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Or I should keep this on. Hope you have an awesome day. Thanks. Bye.